Welcome to AI for Specialists. Today we're diving into something I think many of you feel keenly. It's that, tyranny of work about work. All those administrative tasks that just seem to eat up the day for highly skilled professionals like yourselves.
That's exactly it. You've got doctors, lawyers, engineers, analysts, people trained for really high-level critical thinking, but they find themselves stuck doing, repetitive stuff. Data entry, maybe formatting reports over and over, endless scheduling.
Right. It's more than just inefficient, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It really stifles creativity. It gets in the way of proper client engagement, and frankly, it leads to burnout.
It feels like a total mismatch between the expertise you have and what you actually spend your hours doing. So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We want to show you how just a simple, maybe 10-minute AI audit can actually help you reclaim a big chunk of your work week and redirect that focus back to the high-impact stuff you were trained for. Let's unpack this. So how do we even start chipping away at this tyranny? What's the first step? How do we figure out where AI can genuinely help?
Well, we can actually look back to a pretty classic idea. You know the 80-20 rule, the Pareto Principle?
Vilfredo Pareto.
Exactly. It's a fantastic diagnostic tool here. It helps us zero in on that, let's say, 20% of activities that take up maybe 80% of your time, but often give you pretty low value in return.
Okay, but just to clarify, this isn't about suddenly doing 80% less work for the same outcome. Right. That's a common way people misunderstand it.
Precisely. That's a key distinction. Your high-impact work, the stuff that really needs your brain power, that still needs 100% effort. What the 80-20 rule tells us here is where to focus your automation effort. Put 100% of that automation focus on the 20% of tasks that are most repetitive, most time-consuming.
Right.
And that's the strategy that can unlock maybe 80% of your potential time savings. It ensures AI gets used where it gives you the biggest bang for your buck,
That's smart automation.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the tool for doing this, for finding that 20%?
It's something we call the AI automation matrix. It sounds fancy, but it's really just a simple 2x2 grid. It's designed to cut through any analysis paralysis and turn this into a quick, 10-minute self-check. So the x-axis, that's your cognitive and creative requirement, goes from low-think, rule-based, simple stuff, all the way to high, meaning real critical thought, creatively.
Okay, low to high creativity. And the y-axis.
That's task volume and frequency. Basically, how much time does this task eat up, either because it's huge or because you do it over and over again really often?
Right. High volume, high frequency up top, low down bottom.
Exactly. And putting those together gives us 4 quadrants. Let's start with quadrant 1, the easiest one. Quadrant 1 is what we call automate immediately. These are your high volume but low creativity tasks. This is the real low-hanging fruit.
Example.
Think about formatting that weekly report template or routine data entry, scheduling the same recurring meetings week after week, stuff like that. Perfect for current AI tools.
Makes sense. Then quadrant 2.
Quadrant 2 is augment and accelerate. These are also high-volume tasks. They happen a lot, but they do need more creativity, more cognitive input. So here, AI isn't taking over completely. It's acting more like a really smart assistant.
So it handles the first pass, the more formulaic bits, and then you come in to refine it, add the higher-level thinking.
Precisely. Like generating a first draft, some marketing copy, maybe doing some preliminary legal research, pulling relevant cases. AI gets you started, accelerates the process.
Right, I see the grid.
And often the most powerful thing about doing this quick audit, just sketching out this matrix for yourself, is the realization, the aha moment of just how much time highly paid specialists like yourself might actually be spending down in that low value quadrant 1. It forces a bit of a mental shift. You think, hang on, I'm paid for my expertise in these complex areas, but look how many hours are leaking away on mundane tasks.
Yeah.
It really reframes automation. It's not just about being a bit faster. It becomes a strategic necessity.
We're already seeing this play out in the real world, aren't we? The impact is pretty tangible. Like in medicine, you hear about AI scribes. They're changing the game for clinical documentation.
Absolutely. They can listen to a patient visit and auto-generate clinical notes right into the electronic health record, the EHR.
Which cuts down massively on that horrible pajama time doctors spending hours after work catching up on paperwork.
Huge time saver. And in law, we're seeing domain-specific generative AI trained specifically on legal data cutting document review times, sometimes by 70%. 70%. Wow.
Yeah, imagine analyzing thousands of contracts for specific clauses or risks in, a fraction of the usual time.
And finance, too, right? Automation there is reclaiming serious hours.
Definitely. There are studies showing businesses saving over 500 hours a year in their finance teams just by automating things like invoicing and payment processing.
That's more than 10 hours a week back per department. It's huge.
And this all feeds into the bigger economic picture. It's quite stark, actually. If you look at productivity growth, the industries that are most exposed to AI, most adopting it, their productivity growth has almost quadrupled since around 2022.
Quadrupled?
Yeah, it jumped from about a 7% increase between 2018 and 2022 up to 27% by 2024. But industries less exposed to AI, their productivity growth actually declined over that same recent period.
Wow, that's a significant divergence.
It really is. It shows this isn't some future prediction, it's happening now. So, okay, let's bring it back to the listener. What does all this mean for you? You do the audit, you identify the tasks, you see the potential hours saved. What's next? What do you do with that saved time?
That's the crucial question. Because the real return on investment, the true ROI, isn't just getting time back. It's about strategically reinvesting that time. And we generally see three main pathways emerging. First, pretty obviously, innovation and R&D.
Right.
Those hours you reclaim become fuel. Maybe it's finance teams finally having time to develop predictive financial models instead of just reporting historicals, or engineers getting breathing room to explore more radical design concepts.
Okay, innovation. What's number two?
Second is deepening client and stakeholder engagement. This is huge for service professionals. Think about that lawyer again. If AI drafts a standard contract in minutes, they can reinvest that saved hour into, say, strategic case planning or just having a deeper conversation with the client, understanding their needs better.
So moving from just producing documents to being more of a trusted advisor?
Exactly. Shifting from transactional work to high-value advisory. And the third pathway, accelerating professional development and upskilling. And this might actually be the most strategic reinvestment of all in the long run. Using that reclaimed time to build skills, both those uniquely human skills, critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, and becoming more AI literate, understanding how to leverage these tools effectively.
So it's about future-proofing yourself, essentially.
Precisely.
And this whole shift, it really transforms how a specialist is viewed within an organization, doesn't it? You move away from being seen, perhaps unfairly, as just a cost center doing necessary tasks and become more of a growth engine, someone directly driving innovation, better client relationships, top-line value.
That's the potential here. It's significant.
Okay, so the call to action from this deep dive seems really clear. Take 10 minutes. Seriously, just 10 minutes sometime this week. Sketch out that 2x2 matrix for your own work. Identify just one quick win, one task done in that quadrant 1 high volume, low creativity. Then find a simple, low learning curve AI tool that can handle it. Set it up, test it out, and actually track the time you save. Just start small.
That's the perfect first step. It's about choosing to direct the AI rather than feeling like you're being directed by the changing landscape. Because the future of work, realistically, is going to be this partnership between humans and AI. AI handles the computation, the pattern matching, the repetitive stuff, and that frees up us humans to really double down on what we do best. Critical thinking, complex problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, connecting with other humans. This audit, this simple 10-minute exercise, it's your first move towards consciously shaping that future for yourself, towards making your job more strategic, more impactful, and ultimately more human.
A powerful way to frame it. Making work more human by automating the robotic parts. Well, that's all the time we have today. Until next time on AI for Specialists, bye-bye.